Probably an underappreciated Maple Leaf at this point.
Sammy, anything on that before we critique Jack Campbell?
No, I like the way that he takes the puck from zone to zone too. He's good at that. He's good as a transition player. Head up, gets the puck out of the zone. I don't love his hands. Bit of a stone hands from time to time. Don't love his one-on-one stuff he does with the goalie because he gets breakaways too. But other than that, I really love his passing, and that was a great call by Kyper. So I'm all good on Kerfoot.
All right.
Jack Campbell, last 5 starts, 5-0, 240 goals against average, 907 save percentage, at least trending in the right direction.
Yes. Do you want to start with Keefe before you and I give our opinions?
Sure. Let's go to Sheldon Keefe on Jack Campbell.
He was locked in. I mean, it's terrible that we had breakdown there, turnover, forced the issue to give up the second goal, but he was excellent. It was great to see. I mean, we gave up more shots than we would have liked today as a team. I think if you talk to Jack and you talk to the goalie coach, Steve Briere, you want those shots, you want that work, and especially on a night when Jack's feeling it the way that he was. So that's the biggest takeaway I'll take out of the game today is
he can't pump his tires more. They'll burst. They'll burst.
Peak. Roberto Luongo and Tim Thomas.
But can you blame the guy? It's Jack or nothing.
Yeah. And last night, so you weren't as high, maybe quite as high on him as Sheldon was. I thought last night he looked energetic. He looked.
Well, Liljegren gives up the puck on the JVR first goal. A big rebound in the middle of the net. And then you tip your hat off to a great shot for the Flyers' second goal. No different than Liljegren's, very good shot over Jones' left shoulder. But listen, just make the saves that you're supposed to make.
Yeah.
Like, he does not have to be first star every playoff game, but the average is every other game that you have to be the best player on your team, if not top 2, to get to a Stanley Cup final.
I feel like he fell so far confidence-wise that it wasn't going to be a thing where he could go out and make, who was it? It was probably Mike McKenna on our show who said, forget which goalie it was on our show who said it takes one bad goal to strip you of your confidence, but it takes 100 good saves to get it back.
Curtis Joseph.
Oh, yeah. That guy, I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think he's played, right?
Yeah. And that's what I felt from Jack was that to get to 100 saves, you have to make the first one and the 13th one and the 22nd. Like, this is the start of building towards that 100 for me, where I felt better about him last night. He got across post to post on one-timer that's maybe going wide, maybe not. But he gets across and he's in the right spot to make the save even if the shot is on the net. I just liked his movement more last night. You know what I saw last night from him, too? Is when he makes a save and he's feeling so good about himself, he needs to give someone else credit and tapping his D and going.
He's been really consistent with that.
Well, has he been even when he's been crummy?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like I hadn't noticed it as much lately. So last night, giving a great job to someone who had nothing to do with the play. It's like, that's the Jack that was playing well for this team. So,
and are you okay with him not starting against Tampa Bay tomorrow night? We don't know. As far as I haven't heard anything on it. I don't know if anything was said today or last night.
I heard it theorized that he would play tomorrow night and then play on Friday or Saturday as well, and then Sunday off. Do you think that's too much if he does that? Kind of go every second day here against good teams, and
I don't know if it's necessary. I probably wouldn't play him against Tampa Bay and give him Florida.
I think it's years ago since you weren't allowed to acknowledge that the other network exists, but it was Ferraro on the broadcast last night who said it. He thought he was going whatever, and I thought it seems like a lot for Campbell right away. But I guess
he's been off for how long? Right, 4 weeks.
And actually, this is what happened last time. Remember, he was off for a long time, then he came back, and they gave him 4 games in 6 days, and all of a sudden he was hurt again. You don't want that to happen. So which game would you rather see him? I guess he's got to play one of the back-to-back. So, to have him take off in Tampa Bay and give Shalgren that one.
I think
that's my choice.
I was like
after
this
talking
the other
through it with you.
And I I felt this way 24 hours ago, but then all of a sudden the odds went up that, Sammy, you ready for this? The Boston Bruins will be the Toronto Maple Leaf opponents in the first round and not Tampa Bay, based on last night's loss to Detroit for Tampa Bay and Boston's win over St. Louis.
So we're sitting here doing the show yesterday, and there's a 22% chance Boston is the Leafs' opponent.
And today?
42% chance you're getting the Bruins. In fact, if you're the Bruins, if you go to the Bruins and see who their most likely opponents are, it's actually the Leafs, because they have a bigger variety of opponents it could be. Their most likely opponent is the Leafs. So Tampa's still barely more likely than Boston, but yeah. And now you can't help but feel like, as a Leafs fan, I would say, well, don't let us miss the chance to get Tampa. Tampa's flailing. Boston just beat the Blues. They're rolling. I know you never want to wish to get the Lightning, but I don't know. Sammy, who do you wish?
Sammy, they still scare the heebie-jeebies out of you, don't they, the Boston Bruins?
Doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter, boys. The way the Leafs are playing, the way the season's gone, it just doesn't matter. You just gotta accept who you get and beat them. I know the history with the Bruins. I would probably rather play the Lightning just because of all the things I've laid out to you. Mostly the sweaters that the Bruins wear, the building they play in, having to watch the games, the ghosts, the demons. But listen, the Leafs have been the better team all year. If they can't go into that, they have home ice advantage. If they can't beat the Bruins this year with Swayman and net and a back end that's not as good in years past, then what are we even doing here? I really don't think it matters. I really, really don't.
Well, it could just be Sheldon Keefe's feelings as well, and that he would base it on the depth of the team. Let's listen to Sheldon.
It is. I think on forward, it's somewhat similar to where we've been. I mean, I think back to a couple years ago. I mean, when we played in the bubble here, I think we had Pierre Engvall, playing on the fourth line at that time, and with Clifford and Spez. So that, in that sense, we're kind of in the same sort of place. Engvall's moved up, Blackwell's kind of come in, and but on defense, obviously we got the health of Muzzin and Sandin as something that has to fall into place for us here, and Kasha as well. But when you look at those guys as options, as we hope that they become available for us, then we certainly think we're in a really good place there for sure.
Boys, I see the depth.
Yeah.
And it's you should have the most depth out of any team on the forwards, because you've spent almost 50% of your cap in 4 guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, that should make it harder to have depth. I mean, the money that they've spent on their forward group, you would think